Hey everyone. So, I have done a lot of research on how to start a podcast for about, oh, 2 to 3 months now. And I had all these envisions in my mind of what it looks like, what good looks like. And I was going to spread it all over Spotify, YouTube, everywhere. But it would just be audio because video would just take too much time for editing and also for me to like my face. Um, we actually recorded 2 episodes just this past week after we had clinic hours. They weren't the best, but we did it. We were proud. And about 2 nights ago, I came across an episode on YouTube by Gooby and Dooby. It was on why a neurosurgeon quit after 20 years of life in medicine. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Our channel is new and we literally just have one subscription, and that's him, Gooby and Dooby. We're really going to try to be mindful in what we subscribe to. So, just a little bit about Gooby if you haven't seen this video yet. I have probably no viewers right now, and I'm already recommending somebody that has I don't know, probably 1 million followers, maybe half a million. I don't know. But anyway, he just really motivated me to just start and just speak from the heart. I'm still going to release the audio versions of what we recorded earlier this week because as painful as it is to hear my voice, um, Dr. Johnson, who is my co-host. He has a great voice, and you'll want to hear what he has to say. It's actually more about why we wanted to do this, and the other audio recording is about how a free local clinic was started. Um, so moving forward, I promise I'll try to be better with the sound quality. It's a little bit tough, not being a film editing expert here. So let's just get started there. Some background. I'll just give you some background about myself, the work, and really why, right? Because the audio recordings doesn't have my face, and this is just going to be a YouTube channel. We're not, subscribed to Facebook's, X, Twitter, Spotify, anything like that. This is it. Um, so I'm a pharmacist. I graduated back in 2008, went to a school in Philadelphia. I say I've done it all. I've worked in retail, I've worked in hospital, like a clinic setting, you name it. I worked at a call center, worked in an OR, um, even worked with, allergy clinic to do some extracts, just some really random, bizarre stuff, just because I just can't say no. I want to learn more. I want to be adventurous in my work. I want to find fulfillment. Um, right. So about me and my career, I would say every 3 years I switch roles for a full-time job, um, and then I keep the old job as per diem, and then when I can't stand it anymore, it gets dreadful, I would quit that and then just kind of move on. But for the most of my working career, I've always had about 2 to 3 jobs. Um, I've seen some folks comment on Gooby's YouTube um, website that this one guy commented that his wife had 3 jobs, and he wants her to ultimately at the end have a life, and it just really relates to me. But when you're in it, you don't think about it, you just do it. It's when you get out of it, when you come out of it, that's when you start to say, wow, how did I ever survive that, right? Like, Yeah. So anyway, right now I only have one job, but because of my previous background in work ethics, I have found myself after 15, 16 years of finishing school, working, um, to actually go back to school. I started last fall on a program for an MPH, so that's Master's in Public Health. And it's because the last 2 years I have just, I'm good at what I do, but I wanted to do more, wanted to find more meaningful thing to do with my career because we spend a lot of time at work. Um, so I talked to a lot of people, and then ultimately I realized that public health is really what I like, and that's really my passion is just to help people, either at individual level, and also at a larger scale to see how we can help change lives, right, for the better, because it's possible. Um, a lot of things like people say is impossible. It's impossible until you do it, right? So I think anything is possible. Just kind of grew up with that mindset. Guess you can call that the millennial generation, even though I'm at the older end of the millennial gap there. Um, so so I'm going back to school part time. It's a 2-year program. I volunteer with a free medical clinic, Miriam. It's not government funded, so we're not affected by any fundings. We're chugging along, it's donor based. All the services are free. People come, they spend an hour with us. It's like you get to know the person, um, and it's really rewarding because you get that feeling that you can actually have an impact on people's lives, right? Like they'll listen to you because you listen to them. Um, I hear a lot of these talks about doctors who feel like they're just there to fix, whatever there is a leak. Like, for example, a house is leaking, you fix it, you take care of it, but the leak is still there. And then you just have to keep fixing it. It's like a patching. It's like you're chasing after something, like you're just putting on a bandage, right? Um, to an extent, yes, you can think of this clinic as that as well. But we do try to get to the root of the problem. So, um, for example, like if someone has cholesterol, you think, well, do they even have the right food? Are they able to afford the right food? So just kind of like talking through it and trying to see, like if we can change diet and exercise, some habits that are hard to change, how can we kind of break it through, right? Like it starts with listening because if you listen to them, they will eventually know that you care and they, hopefully will listen to us. Um, but still, this is still a bandage, but I think it's a little bit better than just prescribing something and walking away. And then see in 3, 6 months after spending 5 to 10 minutes with them, right? We spend more time. We're there when they need us. We tend to look at it very holistically when we treat patients. Um, I think it it's helpful for the people who, when it's too late to prevent something, right? Like it's helpful to be there for those people. But what's important and the reason why I, went back to school for an MPH program is because I want to get really at the root of the problem. How do we change policies so that it doesn't perpetuate to the younger generation, right? To the children of these people, and so on. So that's to me solving the root. Um, but you can't just ignore um, those who are suffering right in front of you. So that's why, I volunteer with Miriam. and talking about root problem and global problem, I have recently been engaged with two colleagues of mine, and they have formed um, a 501c3 NGO charity. It's called CAFO, KAFO. So that's K-A, F as in Frank, O. So if you go CAFO.family or www.kafo.family, it's not a spam. It's a real website. It's a charity for um, a country in West Africa, specifically a rural village in West Africa. So Concorona Alliance Foundation, and CAFO in the home language means thank you. Um, and you know, in in about 5 years, these two people, mostly from their own funds, um, they were able to build, you know, a health center, a primary school. This year, they just built a middle school, um, clean water, access to clean water. That was in 2021. So up until 3 years or 4 years ago, um, this village had no clean water, and people were dying of, waterborne illnesses, infectious disease. I mean, they're still dying of infectious disease, but, all these preventable illnesses that we take for granted in a first world country, um, these people don't have. And that means the kids may not get to live, um, to go to school even, or, um, elders are considered as when you're 40. Um, so I think that's amazing. Their their next, project is this year. What I'm trying to help them with fundraising is for a lab. It cost 120,000 for a nice lab that they want. That's their dream lab. Um, and like maybe they could cut it in half if they need to, if there's not enough funding. But a dream lab would mean that you don't have to guess what disease people have when they come to you. Um, you don't have to just do empirical treatment, um, like just guessing therapy. And hopefully it works, because if you're wrong, it could mean that the person dies just because of the nature of these illnesses. A lab means, yeah, you have access to identifying what virus, what bacteria, and how you're going to treat them, or how you're going to help these people. Um, and also, if you think about the all the epidemic, you know, viruses, like the Marburg virus, Ebola, it, it all stemmed, like a lot of it, right, is just stemmed from also West Africa. Not necessarily Burkina Faso. It's more like, Sierra Leone, New Guinea. It is because people have to feel like they need to move further into the jungle, into the forest, because they don't have choices. They don't have agriculture choices. Um, like, diamond mines, other mines, not, yeah, not just diamond, like, you know, um, bauxite, gold, like anything, rubber. Um, these nations are just being exploited, and they still are. Um, so mining, war, famine. Um, so they need to move. So they need to, kind of survive, right? Like look for food resources, look for farming resources. Um, so so they move, and then somewhere like you're not supposed to really interact too close with nature, and you do. So then you get all these diseases that these people have to kind of be exposed to and suffer from. So anyway, so that's my spiel on Africa. But how often do you see strangers come up to you and say, support a charity for Africa? Do you trust them if you don't know them? I probably wouldn't unless if I really, really know them. And these folks, they live here, and one of them is from Burkina Faso. Amazing, amazing people. Um, and so yeah, so like if you want to contribute to something, you want to make sure that it goes to the right cause, right? You want to make sure that 100%, if close to 100% goes to the charity. And in this case, 100% goes to the charity, if not more. You know, it's yeah, we just feel like we can't give enough. And this village is proven to be successful because also there are cases where you provide the money, but you don't see any fruition out of it because of corruption, administrative fees, no support from the government. But there, you know, I, I'm, I think I have just been really motivated by CAFO because they were able to build these buildings. They're successful, they're running. We're looking at sustainability measures, like from all aspects. They've developed a model very similar to the UN, and they said it hasn't failed them, which is great because they're looking at everything, from sustainability to agriculture to just everything, and just from a very mindful perspective as well, like when you're trying to develop a village, a region. Um, so that's on CAFO. I also have started doing meal serving at not necessarily local, but a church ministry in Philadelphia. So they literally serve meals every day. They just connect with other church group, other organizations for sponsorship, and just one group has to sponsor them maybe once or twice a year, and they've got it covered. Just shows how much of a big network they have. So it's just really nice to be able to be there and serve the people who need it. And then also, I could be there to take blood pressures as well, right? And then just to kind of talk to folks there, um, because sometimes it's hard to get people to come to a clinic, make an appointment, and come and see us. Um, so that's that. Um, I strongly believe that education is really the key to eliminating poverty. So, on a global scale, CAFO's doing that. On a local scale, it's tough. Um, the Philadelphia school district, the system there, it's just really hard. It's disheartening. It's sad, to see the test scores of these kids compared to the school that my kids go to. Um, it's it's not fair, right? Um, there's no equity in there. Like, how do you expect them to succeed and thrive when you're not giving them the tools for it? Um, I can't start with Philly. I really can't. I wanted to, but I can't. It's just really hard to infiltrate. Um, but I'm going to start with um, my local community because even living in an affluent area, 17% is underprivileged. So that's something that I can, try to tap into and do. So I'm connecting with school board, superintendent. I reached out to my local state representative. They gave me some, you know, head start. So just connecting. Honestly, connect. I think local community is the best way to start. They have a lot of resources. Like I called, I want to say maybe 2 weeks ago, and they're like a social service group. They have everything from helping you finding a job to find housing, to like, like just signing up for healthcare, anything you can think of. It's amazing. I never thought that politicians do that for you, but locals do. So start there. You know, I wouldn't get too despaired with the federal level or stuff that we can't control, right? Like, yeah, don't get discouraged. It starts with us. It starts small. You just have to have heart and time. I think you can make time if you have the will for it. Um, so that is really why I started this podcast. Really, it's because I want to raise awareness of what we're doing. Of like, let's say, you want to do something, but you don't know where to start. Just put it in the comment, and maybe we can research it, right? Um, there's like, the physician I, volunteer with. He he was asking me just this last week, like he was struggling in trying to find free dental care or just dental care for people who are uninsured. What's the best ones around that won't gouge you? I looked, I found some, the internet, it's like there's so much to find. And then we, make phone calls just to make sure that, these people are actually doing what they say they're doing. Yeah, and then he also asked me about, you know, immigration lawyer for some people um, at a church in Philly. They're scared, and the church just wants to be able to provide resource for them if needed. Um, we asked around for some lawyers. They don't know. They're looking. They're trying their best. They're looking. I happened to just found this one PDF that said like pro bono legal services for PA. And yeah, sure enough, they are out there. And I was able to provide it to him. So, he's definitely going to give it to the church and anyone else who needs it. So um, it's not about protecting ourselves. It's about protecting other people too. And I think when we do that, I think, I mean, at least for me, I feel more happy. I feel more fulfilled, satisfied with myself instead of just, you know, protecting myself, trying to make money, um, just for myself, my family. Um, Honestly, everybody does it. It makes sense in a way, but it really doesn't make sense to me. Um, yeah. So, future videos, we're going to talk more about CAFO. We're going to talk about people, what they do to be happy. I'm probably going to be referring to Gooby a lot um, because I want to talk about that. He's great. Like he's making so many videos, inspiring so many people, which is great to follow their path. He's a philosopher. It's wonderful. Like he's helping people in a different way, right? Like instead of fixing people's like spine, um, he's helping so much more in a mental capacity. Um, but I believe that he has another purpose to do more because he's brilliant. He's capable of doing a lot. I think he can do a lot more um, than just being a philosopher on YouTube, which is still great. But I think he'll eventually find out. For me, why do I do so much? I just felt like I needed to do something because I can, right? Because I can speak up for people who can't speak up for themselves. And I just need to just try to throw myself out there, like an atom, just bouncing around and see what sticks. Um, might not be the best for my health, but it's okay. Eventually, hopefully, I'll find something and be able to slow down and find happiness in that. So yeah, so we're going to talk more about how to be happy, or at least try to be happy, what folks are doing to getting into that path to be content with themselves. Um, I know a lot of folks are out there confused, rethinking their purpose. I've definitely had my fair share and still doing that. So yeah, so I'm gonna stop rambling. So our title is called Rant with a Purpose. We want to rant with a purpose. We also want to connect too. So think of us as like you know, a connecting place for all the people who want to do good. Don't feel like you're alone. There's plenty of us out there. Um, so just put a comment. Tell me what you like, what you want to hear, what you don't want to hear. That's important too. So until next time, um, just be safe, guys. Have an open ear, meaning just listen to what you don't want to hear, listen to the other side. I think that's how we're going to be able to come out of this is just to love each other. Um, think, I mean, everybody, there's humanity. There's humanity in animals, like their eyes, right? Like our pets, our dogs. Like if you look into that, they have the humanity. Like give them that capability, to express their humanity, right? So if you can think that for pets, humans, I mean, you know, we're all human. We shouldn't um, think of things to look at ourselves as different. Nobody wants to be the bad guy. We're all the same. We all want to do good. We all want to stick to our moral convictions. And moral conviction really is just to don't do harm, right? Don't harm other people. What's the point of it? Um, so anyway, I'm going to stop there. Talk later.